Several aviation incidents caught on camera. Some show hard landings, some show sudden emergencies. Others show plane crash moments where everything changes in seconds. But we are not just watching dramatic footage. We are breaking down what happened, what is confirmed, and what each case can teach us about aviation safety.
Cassandra, what is that?
Holy moly!
Oh,
Holy!
oh my gosh.
June 16th, 2026, Laredo, Texas.
Oh my
A NetJets operated Cessna Citation Latitude was heading from San Jose del Cabo to Austin when the crew diverted toward Laredo after reported mechanical trouble. The jet came down on Loop 20, struck a vehicle, broke apart, and caught fire. 6 people were on board. 1 passenger died, and 5 survived after bystanders and first responders rushed in. The confirmed cause has not been released yet. The important lesson here is caution. Video can show the crash, but it cannot prove why it happened. The real answer will come from the recorders, the wreckage, and the crew's last communications.
Well, we had it this evening shortly after 10 with a small passenger plane that actually crashed, landed here at this location behind me. Right now you can see first responders. We have the Laredo Fire Department, we have multiple engines, we have ambulances, and we have a lot of first responders who are here in the scene. We do have victims that have been pulled out of the plane.
June 14th, 2026, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. In Recreio dos Bandeirantes, 2 private helicopters collided in the air and fell near Avenida das Américas into a vehicle lot. A fire followed. All 6 people on the 2 aircraft died. Firefighters were called shortly before 9, and security camera footage showed how fast the accident unfolded. The confirmed cause has not been released. CENIPA is investigating flight separation and communication. The lesson is not to guess from the video. In helicopter traffic, clear communication and visual separation are everything. June 13th, 2026, Jorhat, Assam, India. An Indian Air Force Antonov AN-32 was landing during a routine sortie at Jorhat Air Force Station in the Roria area. On CCTV, the touchdown appeared normal at first, but moments later, the aircraft veered off the runway, overturned, and burst into flames. 5 Indian Air Force personnel were killed. The confirmed cause has not been released yet, and the Air Force has ordered a court of inquiry. The lesson here is careful. A landing is not over at touchdown. Directional control, braking, and aircraft stability after contact can decide everything. August 11th, 2025, Kalispell, Montana. A Socata TBM 700 was landing at Kalispell City Airport with 4 people on board. The NTSB found the approach was unstable. The airplane was too high, power was reduced to idle, and close to the runway, the airspeed warning, then the stall warning, sounded. The airplane rolled left, hit beside the runway, caught fire, and slid into the apron. Everyone escaped, and no one was injured. The confirmed cause was an unstable approach that led to a low-altitude aerodynamic stall. The lesson is direct. If the approach is not stable, go around. Do not try to rescue it near the runway. July 21st, 2022, North Fork, Idaho. A Columbia Helicopters CH-47D was working the Moose Fire near the Salmon River. It was carrying a large water bucket on a long line and preparing to dip it into the river. Witness video showed the helicopter climb, turn left, then suddenly pitch nose down and drop into the water. Both pilots were rescued, but later died. The NTSB found no aircraft system failure. The confirmed cause was an unsecured company iPad that jammed the co-pilot's left pedal and stopped the crew from arresting the yaw. The lesson is clear. Every loose item in a cockpit must be secured. March 14th, 2017, Chalmers, Indiana. An MD Helicopters 369FF was working on a power line construction job, threading a sock line through a transmission tower. A phone video showed 2 failed attempts to hook the metal needle to the tower. On the 3rd attempt, the helicopter moved backward. The needle caught in the tower lattice, the long line tethered the helicopter, and control was lost almost instantly. The pilot was killed. The NTSB found that the needle became entangled as the helicopter moved rearward. The lesson is direct. In external load work, the load is part of the aircraft. If it catches, the helicopter can become trapped in seconds.
Hold next to the Bonanza, but do clear the runway so another aircraft can get behind you. Oh my God!
November 18th, 2015, Carlsbad, California. An Airbus AS350B3E was returning to McClellan Palomar Airport after a local familiarization flight. The pilot tried to land on a wheeled dolly instead of the open ramp. The first attempt went wrong. After the dolly was secured again, he tried several more times. On the final attempt, the helicopter landed short, rocked on the edge of the dolly, struck its tail, and lost control. Both people on board died. The NTSB found the cause was loss of control during the dolly landing. Contributing factors included flying without an instructor, continuing the dolly attempts instead of landing on the ramp, and impaired judgment from psychoactive medications. The lesson is clear. When a landing setup is not working, stop and choose the safer option.
It's not stopping until it hits something.
Disregard if you weren't calling me, disregard.
Ground, Delta 4.
Delta 4, ground.
There are occupants of that aircraft?
Delta 4, we believe so. We were only able to see one. I'm not sure if there's any more.
Roger, and did he,
May 21st, 2026, Warsaw Babice Airport, Poland. A Piper PA-28-180 lost its right main landing gear after takeoff. The crew later felt the airplane pulling slightly to the right, and an observer on the ground reported that the right gear was missing. The crew stayed airborne, made a low pass to confirm the damage, and prepared for an emergency landing. The airplane landed safely on runway 28 with airport services standing by. The pilot and passenger were not injured, but the aircraft was badly damaged. The investigation is still open, so the exact reason the gear separated has not been confirmed. The lesson is preparation. Confirm the problem, reduce the risk, and never rush an abnormal landing. August 9th, 2021, Ocklawaha, Florida. A Pitts Model 12 was flying a local aerobatic flight over a lake with 2 people on board. Flight track data showed at least 3 loops before the data ended. Witness video showed the airplane in an inverted flat spin, followed by a nose-down spin into the water. The engine could be heard running continuously until impact. Both people on board were killed. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The confirmed cause was the pilot's failure to maintain control during aerobatic maneuvers, which led to an inverted flat spin he could not recover from. The lesson is direct. Aerobatics need training, altitude, and discipline. There is no room to improvise near the surface. May 11th, 2022. Broomfield, Colorado. A Cessna 172 was returning to Rocky Mountain Metro Airport after a local training flight. The pilot had completed a touch and go and was back in the traffic pattern. After air traffic control changed the landing runway, the airplane was established on final. Security video then showed it suddenly turn north and descend rapidly. It hit near an intersection short of the runway, struck a traffic light pole, and caught fire. The pilot was killed. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The confirmed finding was loss of control, but the exact reason could not be determined. The lesson is careful. Even on final approach, keep the aircraft stabilized, keep flying at first, and be ready to go around when the approach stops looking normal. July 21st, 2024. Rural Retreat, Virginia. A Cessna A185F was landing at Mountain Empire Airport after a short cross-country flight. The pilot set up for a full-stop three-point landing in the tailwheel airplane. Right after touchdown, the airplane suddenly swerved to the right. The pilot said it felt like the right brake had grabbed, but his feet were off the brakes. He tried left brake, then added power, and the airplane started to climb away from the runway before coming down again. The pilot was not injured, but the aircraft was substantially damaged. The NTSB confirmed the cause as a loss of directional control during the landing roll. The lesson is simple. In a tailwheel airplane, the landing is not finished at touchdown. The rollout still has to be controlled. August 31st, 2016, Bentonville, Arkansas. A Beech A-36 was taking off from Bentonville Municipal Airport, an uncontrolled airport with one runway. At the same time, another airplane had landed from the opposite direction and was still on the runway. Surveillance video showed the Beech veer left during the takeoff roll, cross the grass and ramp area, become airborne, and hit the top of a hangar. The pilot was the only person on board, and he was killed. The NTSB found no mechanical failure before impact. The confirmed cause was the pilot's failure to monitor or transmit on the airport traffic frequency, and his decision to continue the takeoff after seeing conflicting traffic. The lesson is direct. At uncontrolled airports, radio calls are not background noise. They can be the warning that keeps two aircraft off the same runway. January 21st, 2024, Little Rock, Arkansas. A Cirrus SR-22 was departing Bill and Hillary Clinton National Airport on a personal cross-country flight. It was cold, about 28 degrees Fahrenheit, and the engine took many attempts to start. After the engine finally started, the airplane taxied almost right away. NTSB data showed the required engine run-up was not performed before takeoff. During the initial climb, the pilot reported a loss of engine power. The airplane slowed, stalled, and came down near the departure runway. The pilot was killed. The NTSB found no mechanical defect that would have prevented normal operation. The confirmed cause was failure to maintain control after a partial loss of engine power. Cold weather effects on the turbocharger control system and missed flight manual procedures contributed. The lesson is clear. In cold weather, do not rush a turbocharged engine. Warm it, check it, and make sure the numbers are green before takeoff. August 28th, 2023, Pompano Beach, Florida. A Broward Sheriff Fire Rescue Eurocopter EC-135 had just lifted off from Pompano Beach Air Park for an air medical call. Less than 2 minutes after takeoff, the pilot heard a bang from the rear of the helicopter and saw the number 1 engine temperature rising. He declared an emergency and turned back toward the airport. Witness video showed an in-flight fire near the number 1 engine area. Then, the tail boom partially separated and the helicopter entered a right spin before crashing into an apartment building. 1 paramedic and 1 resident on the ground were killed. The NTSB found the cause was an in-flight fire outside the engine firewalls, likely from overheating of the number 1 engine for reasons that could not be determined. The lesson is serious. A fire outside protected engine areas can damage the aircraft faster than the crew can recover. August 21st, 2023, Wheeling, Illinois. An Israel Aircraft Industries Westwind Astra was landing at Chicago Executive Airport on a positioning flight. The airplane touched down in the touchdown zone, but during the rollout, the crew reported that the brakes were not grabbing. Both pilots tried braking with no effect. The captain then used the emergency brake and tried to turn onto a taxiway for more stopping room. The jet slid off the paved surface into the grass, the right main landing gear collapsed, and the aircraft was badly damaged. Both pilots survived without injury. The NTSB found the cause was a loss of braking effectiveness during landing, but the exact reason could not be determined. The lesson is clear. Landing does not end at touchdown. The aircraft still has to slow down, and every stopping system has to work as expected. August 4th, 2023, Pembroke Pines, Florida. A Cessna 172 departed North Perry Airport on a local instructional flight with a flight instructor and 2 passengers on board. Security videos showed the takeoff looked normal at first, but during the initial climb, the airplane's nose came up rapidly. At only about 125 feet, the airplane began rolling left, then dropped steeply onto airport property. The flight instructor and the front seat passenger were killed. The rear seat passenger was seriously injured. The NTSB found no engine or flight control failure. The confirmed cause was the instructor exceeding the airplane's critical angle of attack during the initial climb, causing an aerodynamic stall too low to recover. The lesson is direct. After takeoff, pitch control and airspeed are survival. A steep climb can never come before control. January 18th, 2023, Modesto, California. A Cessna 414 had just departed Modesto City County Airport for Concord when the pilot reported that he could not change radio frequencies. The tower could still hear him, and he was cleared to return for landing. During the return, the airplane flew an unusual, tight pattern for runway 28 right. As it turned toward final, the airspeed dropped. The bank angle increased, and dash camera video showed the airplane stall, roll left, and descend almost straight down. The pilot was killed. The NTSB found no mechanical failure before impact. The confirmed cause was the pilot exceeding the airplane's critical angle of attack and failing to maintain proper airspeed during the turn to final. The lesson is direct. Troubleshoot only as far as safety allows. In the traffic pattern, airspeed and bank angle matter more than fixing a radio. August 18th, 2022, Watsonville, California. A Cessna 152 was flying the traffic pattern at Watsonville Municipal Airport. At the same time, a Cessna 340 was coming in on a straight-in approach to runway 20. Both pilots were making radio calls, but the airplanes were closing fast. The Cessna 152 turned base, then final. The Cessna 340 was still moving fast, and investigators later found its landing gear and flaps retracted. Moments later, the two airplanes collided on final, about 150 feet above the ground. All 3 people were killed. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The confirmed cause was the multi-engine pilot's failure to see and avoid the single-engine airplane. The lesson is clear. At a non-towered airport, radio calls are not enough. Pilots still have to fit into the traffic flow, look outside, and manage speed before the pattern becomes a conflict. June 3rd, 2023, Tupelo, Mississippi. A Piper PA-31 was departing Tupelo Regional Airport on an IFR flight with 2 pilots on board. Right after takeoff, the airplane began a climbing right turn. At first, it stayed level with the wings for only a short time. Then the turn became tighter and the speed began to fall. Security video showed the right wing stall, the airplane roll over, point nose down, and hit the ground near the airport. A post-impact fire followed. Both people on board were killed. The NTSB found no flight control anomaly and no clear pre-impact engine failure. The confirmed cause was the pilot exceeding the airplane's critical angle of attack while maneuvering after takeoff. The lesson is direct. After takeoff, altitude is limited, speed is life, and a steep turn leaves almost no room to recover. Every case in this video was different. Different aircraft, different airports, different decisions. But the same rule keeps coming back. Aviation gives very little room for delay, distraction, or guessing. Let me know in the comments which accident you think carried the strongest lesson, and what detail stood out to you the most. If you want more verified aviation breakdowns like this, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.